Watchers of the Time Stream, it is Tuesday, and you have been summoned to recap our first adventure into the fairy kingdom of Caffeine. Stay with us for the next hour as we discuss centaurs, fairies, and magic as only the Dungeon Rundown can. The Dungeon Rundown on Caffeine is the best place to get a closer look at gameplay, insider updates, and exclusive Dungeon Run news that you can't find anywhere else. And as always, the more the merrier, so go ahead and hit that share button to get more folks in on the action. All right, here with us to walk us through the first steps through the plane of fairy, welcome to Cormusego, Ron Ogden. Yay! Did I say that right, Ron?
You did.
Yes.
Nailed it.
Awesome. Woohoo! And fresh from her first week as our guest dungeon master, welcome back, Amy Vorpahl.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
Amy, real quick, I gotta just acknowledge that shirt because it's fabulous.
There are two things going on here. Sure, you might be thinking, wow, that is a puppet right from the Dark Crystal.
Yes,
how
that's
fey of you. You might also be thinking, is it an owl? Is it eggs familiar? Either way, you're right. No one loses on the Dungeon Rundown. Look, I put a lot of thought into this.
I absolutely love it.
I love it.
Guys,
of course I love it.
you.
Of course I love it.
We're off to a fantastic start already. Dungeon Runners, with 1 day left until our second adventure into the Feywild, I'm sure that you have lots of questions and comments about what's to come. So be sure to get in on the conversation by posting in the chat. And remember, the best comment or question of the night will earn some Dungeon Run swag. That shirt would look real nice on you if I do say so myself. So Amy and Ron, tell us a little bit about the Feywild. What did you know about this magic and this world going into the adventure? And were there any surprises that you encountered in our first run?
So the reason I picked the Feywild is because there's in Dungeons and Dragons, the real thing is anything's possible. Just use your imagination. But there are some there's still some logic rules that we all know and love. And what I love about the Feywild is all the logic and anything that's planned, it can go out the window. So everything can be a dream. You can actually not exist. You can sort of exist. Like, there are these things that, like, even on a grander scheme, you can play with, and you can literally do anything, and it can be canon in the Feywild. So I just love that about the world, and that ultimately is why I chose it, because I like doing things my way.
Yes.
No, I can absolutely relate to that, because I love the Feywild in that it does kind of break the logical rules of things that are going on. And I knew a little bit about the Feywild because I played 4th edition a lot, and they had a lot of stuff in the Feywild for 4th edition. But what I did specifically was I took that chaotic nature of the Fey world and decided that I would play someone who's very intellectual and very specific about what they believe and logical. Specifically, so I had that challenge of, well, when you're a person who lives with logic and ration and you're dumped into this world that's just all of a sudden everything's okay, like, what happens? So that's what
When I heard about, like, your character, I was like, you know, I'm gonna break the game because I'm gonna do the Feywild. And then Ron comes to me with his character, and I'm like, drat, confounded again! Like, how did he know how to break the game with a character who doesn't believe in magic as an entity? It's like,
so that's to Cormusego is actually an anagram for cogito ergo sum, which means I think, therefore I am. Rene Descartes.
I love it!
And every one of my verbals is technically a famous quote by somebody. So.
That's awesome. And you know what, tying right on into that, Dr. Sparks in chat says, I love Ego. What was the inspiration behind the character?
For me, I love fairy tales because I think fairy tales, especially, I grew up with Aesop's Fables. And Aesop's Fables were just animals telling you what it means to be human and how sometimes these animals were better humans than actual humans. So that, to me, helped me understand that storytelling is a way to communicate in a respectful way about what it means to be a human being inside this brain. You'll never know what it means to live behind these eyes. I will never know what it means to live behind your eyes. So I always have to take into account that you know something that I will never know, and that's what storytelling is for me. It's a way to give an insight into the world behind your own eyeballs through yours. And so that's what I did. For me, it's philosophy, right? Philosophy was that for the world. It helped me understand things. So that's it. It was just that kind of inspiration for me is, well, I don't know if I exist, so all of you could just be an imagination thing, right? Like the only thing I know for sure that is real is that I think. So when you're in the Feywild, I thought that's a great way to be then, because then you can handle anything or not handle anything at all. Like it's that duality again, which I absolutely love.
I love that outlook into storytelling. That's amazing. Okay, so our adventurers in the Feywild travel pretty light so far, but there's no reason not to be prepared. So as a fun little game, Amy and Ron, if you had 3 things you could take with you through the Feywild from our current world, what would those 3 things be?
That is a good question. Let's see. I think it would have to be simple things. Normally, like when you're like deserted island, it's like my Netflix and my cell phone and technology. But I think for Feywild, you've got to go a little deeper. So I think it'll be a little creepier. So a lock of my father's hair, a bone from my dog who died when I was a child, and I loved him very much. And I would get, something evil. So this would be like, this is what it is. It would be, there's no rhyme or reason to it because we don't have time, but a remote control from one of my exes. And it would be like the curse of what I bring. So it's like, there, you're tainted.
So you could curse people with that X remote control.
Yeah, like I would have some good things to protect me, like surrounding people I love, but then like the evil, you would have to bring like an evil trinket too. And that, we don't have time to go into it, but that would be the evil trinket, a remote control.
Lily Dumblestuck fan says, I love Amy's answers. So, well done.
Here I'm thinking like, well, page of what on the DMG? So in that vein, I would take a Gem of True Sight for sure.
Okay.
If you want to know what's actually going on.
Explain to the less familiar what that does.
So a Gem of True Sight is essentially, it gives you true sight. It sees through invisibility. Anything that is an illusion is seen through. And since the Fae is so illusion heavy, that would be something. Probably a flying broom. That would probably be pretty
like your traditional witchy flying broomstick?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
As a wizard, it's easier to handle that way, and I'm small, so it's easy. But then, I like the way that you went, so I would probably say the true name of an archfey.
Ooh,
that's cool.
That is really cool.
Because if you get into trouble, you got that true name, and as soon as you call it, boom, they're right there.
That's Name of the Wind. That's like hearkening to, that sort of fantasy book.
Yeah. The T-Boys in chat says, I love how Ron goes straight for the DMG magic items, for the damage magic items.
I can't help it.
I love that.
Hey, you gotta be true to you.
Yeah, well,
Mickey Wolf 19, thank you. And everyone else in chat, thank you for the comments on the elf ears. They were a Renaissance Fair pickup. Go to your local Renaissance Fair and support that and pick up some elf ears.
They are dope. They are dope.
Thank you.
Thank you for the Feywild honor. Like you're like yes-anding and honoring the Feywild with those things, and the Feywild appreciates it.
Honoring the Feywild is what I am here to do, Amy. Also, a lot of people in chat giving love to Ron's appearance on Live from the 8th.
Oh my gosh.
That was so fun.
That was magical. That was exactly how not to play D&D. we did a real quick segment where my little fun positive character sets up a D&D game, and immediately Uggo and Roach together they just break it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Fat Loser 22 says the creatures that were on 8th Dimension show should go into the Feywild.
Yes, they should. Or some of them are. When you talk about like magic being both good and dark, I don't know. 8th Dimension might be a little too dark. Just like Teddy Bear, it's like a dead teddy bear made out of human skin.
You know.
It's that space magic.
It's space. It's space. It's space magic, and it is uncomfortable.
Well, sometimes the Feywild can be uncomfortable. So
sure.
In the future,
Teddy Bear's not showing up in the Feywild.
Okay. Are direwolves in the Feywild? Says Mickey Wolf.
Direwolves, yes, direwolves are in the Feywild. Werewolves, beasts, My favorite thing is I really love it when it's aware something other than a wolf.
Okay.
So they do have lycanthropes in D&D where you can be aware rat or whatever. But my favorite thing about all of those things is for the wolf, the moon is the trigger, right?
Yeah.
That's when they know, oh, I'm gonna be a wolf. But I love it if it's like a were rat, like what is your trigger? Is it, a full wheel of cheese? Like what turns you into your creature self?
What turns you on?
What
but
turns-
not a
yeah.
sexy way. What turns your
No.
wear on?
What I love about
exactly.
what I love about the were creatures, especially in D&D, is depending on which of the animals will determine your alignment when you're in that were form.
Yeah.
So like were tigers are lawfully good, and they're just like, so what does that mean? Like all of a sudden you're like, I want to help people.
I like.
You turn into a
I
tiger,
do.
and now I'm helping
Yes,
people.
I do like the idea too that like it's D&D, so make it your own.
Right.
If characters are like, I'm gonna be a were sloth or I'm gonna be a were puppy, like sure, yeah, sure,
Fifth grade
absolutely.
says wear koala.
Were
Oh, yeah.
koala,
Were
that's
panda.
gonna be a cute little guy. Yeah. Yeah, maybe they have fangs, but they smile. They're just nice.
Were
They're just
alligator.
Eucalyptus. Were alligator.
Were-
Where corgi is
Oh, yeah,
thrown out
wow.
by Sunny D.
Okay,
100.
did you win D&D? You just might have won D&D with Were Corgi.
Were corgi.
Yes. Thank you. That speaking of winning D&D, we owe our adventurers a huge group high five for last week's adventure and
Yes.
first steps into the Feywild. Congrats, guys.
Congrats.
While we finish packing our virtual travel bags as we go into the Feywild, please, you at home, go ahead and watch the youngest cherub-faced adventurer, Brick, played by Jessica, in this clip from episode 1, Contamination of Magic.
Brick, you're up.
Does it take 23 points of damage?
Oh, absolutely, yes. So at this point now, it's looking fairly
Wow,
bad. Like
it's a
as
hardy
drawn
one.
as it was,
Okay.
its mouth turns down and it's like its skull drops even further.
Wow, okay.
So I'd like to get creative with this Charlatan's Shackles card from Mickey Wolf. She's unconscious, yeah, on the horse.
Yes.
So this, okay, they are shackles.
Yeah.
Shackle these to the wrists of any humanoid, and you may automatically puppet them. They must be willing or dead or make a grapple check. Since she's unconscious.
Same.
does it
Yes,
count
I
as
would
dead?
totally, absolutely. Yes.
Okay, so she now has shackles. There's no, I guess, like a limit on this, but I guess my intention is just to like shackle her so that she can be, roped up at a later time.
Okay, and the way the card describes it is it is like a puppet.
Like Weekend at Bernie's.
Like Weekend at Bernie's. So I will say once you shackle her, while she is still draped over, like things that you do, she'll also do. So if you're walking and your arms are dangling, she's still dangled over there, but her arms are gonna go like this.
Oh, okay. So I'm
Okay.
gonna see this. I'm gonna like start moving my arms. I go,
Yeah.
Rick, what are you doing?
and then I'm gonna like, I kind of see that this situation's under control. I'm gonna like release my shield cover and then walk over to her and kind of like do crazy things with my body to
Okay.
just see what happens.
Okay. Yeah. Whatever you do, including the bottom limbs, I imagine are however crazy. She's horizontal and dancing.
And I'm gonna walk up to her and put my hand on her. I can't think of a funny way to do that. And I'll do the ASMR healing hands on her.
Amazing.
And she'll get 5 hit points.
Great.
She does have shackles on, yes?
Right.
'Cause
Yes.
She hasn't been bound yet.
Yeah, so I would assume we should probably do that soon because I don't know how long this card lasts.
That's a good question. How long would that card? We'll say actually. I mean, it is a powerful magic item. Let's do a percentile dice minutes is how long.
Okie
It'll
dokie.
last.
Nice.
Okie dokie.
Ooh, get to use those percentile dice.
Yeah.
That's percent.
50.
And then you roll another. You roll the other
It's
d10 for a
percentile.
number of.
Oh, okay,
50 something.
I see. 54.
50.
Good, because I was
Studio.
going to keep track of exactly when 50 minutes was in game and 54. Okay, so about an hour is how long you'll have her. Definitely shackled. It will count as binding. That's totally fine.
Does she start
But you did the healing hands, I'm sorry.
to wake up when Rick does this?
Yes, as shackled as she is, when she wakes up, the way I'm gonna interpret this card is, it is your puppet to do with as you please. She will regain consciousness when actual her selfness once the shackles are removed. So for now, she's bound. You have complete control over her body. As far as her mind, it's as if she were a dead skeleton.
Okay, now
Puppet.
She's a puppet. That's how I'm gonna interpret that card.
actually, Brick is kind of against my mind control.
Okay, well then that's your turn. You still did it. You had a lot of fun with it, and now you're having moral regrets.
Those are your consequences.
It doesn't necessarily have to be mind control. It could just be body control.
That was such a perfectly played DM move by Amy. And so very, like, Jessica was so very in character as Brick. And she was like, I'm gonna totally weekend at Bernie's this guy and pumping him around.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I don't like mind control.
Yes,
though. And then for you to be like, can't take it back, we're done.
Can't take it out. Yeah,
Well,
you've done plenty, my dear. In one turn, in 6 seconds, you did so much. Ending it on moral regret is like the goal, I think, of every DM for a character's turn.
Amy did it to me too when I cast the fireball the first time. She was like, "Oh right, you remember there are entire creatures that look like mushrooms and now they're burned." And I was like, "Actually, didn't consider that when I cast that fireball. Wow."
Everything could be alive. Yeah.
To be fair, last
Yeah.
week on the rundown, Amy said, I think these players have had it too easy. And I'm gonna go hard and be tough.
whoever is in chat, yeah, I love them. You've had it too easy.
You're doing it, and I love chat was making lots of fun jokes about just the ridiculousness of having a level 5 child in your adventuring party. Like Fat Loser 22 saying, "Excuse me, child squire, fetch me my cleaving blade of horrible destruction." Like, these are just the ramifications.
Yeah.
And I think it was Sir Gage that said, how do you send a level 5 7-year-old to their room? Like, how does that even happen? It's crazy, because level 5 is pretty powerful.
Yeah,
Oh,
you know what? One of my favorite moments was when Humdrum just like kind of derailed everything. I was like, "You're just so cute. Like, look at you. Get it? Yeah, sit in my lap. This is amazing. I love children. Yeah, in a cool way. Cool way. But yeah, Brick is a little cute boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And very OP. All right, so in the first few moments of our journey into the Feywild, we were introduced to all of our adventures, and it was lovely and very descriptive. Amy, can you go ahead and quickly describe the characters as you see them, and what do you expect each of them to bring to the campaign?
Oh, yes. Okay, so I'm gonna go down here because it's easiest to remember. We've got Helvengard, who is a paladin and very, very hip to protecting people, and kind of partners with Brick, the cherub or Aasimar, cleric of life. And they're kind of a team. They came together from the material plane, having done one adventure together before and realizing, hey, they're a good team. Together, between protection and light, they are the people from the material plane who are most motivated to help save the Feywild for loyal and noble reasons. So I imagine there will be more of that. Let's see, who's sitting next to them? Morgan, the centaur, whose name is, oh my gosh. Oh, Crow. Yeah, C-R-O-H.
I always forget if it's Craw or Crow, but it's Crow.
It's Crow. And he, sorry, Morgan. He's going to bring, he's a conflicted guy. So I imagine he's
Isn't he the sexy centaur?
He's a sexy centaur.
Your chest, I think.
But just
Your
because you sexy don't mean you don't have other things going on in your brain. So he's a little bit conflicted about the Feywild having left this wild, kind of overgrown, random ecosystem to he and his centaur family have built their own elite system outside of Clane, and to come back, I think, is a really big step for him because, as we found out in the first episode, he's actually been a little bit affected by the blemish of magic. So he's I think, lowering his head a little and stepping back into this realm where he ultimately feels like he's better than everyone. Who's next? We've got Egg. Egg's gonna bring to the adventure my worst nightmare as a DM. He's gonna, look, he doesn't believe in magic, and he is here to help save people, but it's for a different reason than actually saving people. In his mind, it may or may not even exist, and cleansing magic, I don't know. If magic doesn't exist, he's here for the study of it, honestly. So he'll bring a little bit of conflict there. And then we have Katie's character and her fape, Bert, which we got, definitely Bert. And I think what she's gonna bring is ultimately some heart, because she's grown up kind of in a hermit situation, and I have a suspicion that she might wind up being the heart and the glue of the team.
Okay.
But that's me projecting, and I don't know. I just know that Katie plays amazing characters, and we might see a big arc with this one.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's absolutely true. And now, Ron, you showed us our first glimpse of Ticormus Ego in last week's adventure. So what is so special about your character thus far? Like, let's dig a little bit deeper, what we've seen of him so far, and what do you think you'll enjoy the most about role-playing?
Well, what I really like is he doesn't believe in magic. Like, he literally does. He's a wizard who doesn't believe in magic.
I
He's
love
a
that you did that.
divination wizard.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And his whole concept is, I can only divine what is true because it's already been written. And so the only way to tell the truth about anything is to have read it. Mm-hmm. So for divination for him is just, well, this has all already happened. So, and so a lot of it is active disbelief, whereas, because magic is just your will. Right? We talk about like sorcerers, the will comes from their blood, warlocks come from some creature across the planescape, and wizards are just study. So in a way, his strong will belief of that none of this is real is what actually drives his magic. So a lot of this is, for me, I also love the aspect that you let me do, which has become basically a planescape anthropologist, where he spent hundreds of years going back and forth between as many planescapes as he can, learning about the different cultures of creatures, from the Underdark to the Fae to the material plane. So for him, this is all like, tell me all about your history. I want to know what's going on, because the more and more he knows about religion, arcana, and the history of things around him, the more and more he can convince everyone, this is all just a dream, and if we all wake up, it'll be way better.
The way that, like, he described it to me, that is, for all of these, people who are fans of other stuff. Harry Potter. When Harry Potter is a baby and other wizards are babies or little, magical things happen to them, and they're like, Harry, to escape the bad guy, the bullies, winds up on the roof, right? And there's no like rhyme or reason. That seems to be like what Egg is going for, is like, because I needed this in this moment of necessity and I believed in it, this happened, but it had nothing to do with what you call magic.
Yeah.
Got it. Because, Sean Patrick in chat says, how can a wizard not believe in magic when he throws magic missile and fireball?
Because the idea is, for fireball, and I love this question, because fireball is just taking the energy that already exists around me and concentrating it into one form so that I can throw it over there and it explodes. If I have, for example, infection, right? Infection's a low cantrip. Bacteria is a thing. So infection is just him understanding that there are these invisible creatures that he can go over there and hurt that guy. So it's all about how much he can convince himself that so invisibility isn't so much a magic spell as I just don't exist. You just can't see me.
What it also means for Ron is just so much work, like so much homework for this character to like go into Mike Merles' brain and be like, nay, sir, I think not.
So would it be valid to agree with Patira Stormblade in chat, who says to Egg, magic and science are one and the same?
Correct.
Okay.
That magic is just, so one thing I really love is, we talk about mythological creatures like Zeus and all these other individuals that exist that we don't have any proof of. There's a concept that perhaps those individuals were just advanced advanced individuals. They were so far advanced. I forgot the philosopher that says it, but given enough time, one civilization to another will appear to be magic. It might as well appear to be.
Sure, that makes
A
sense.
cell phone, if I bring that out and show it to somebody not even that long ago,
Oh, yeah.
they're gonna go, what is that?
It sends a message to space and then
Across
it comes back
the world
down.
and comes back
Yeah.
almost
Magic.
instantaneously, right? That's magic. To if you're not advanced enough, that is magic. So that's the concept is magic is just you don't know enough about what's actually happening, so you go, oh, it's a thing that I don't know.
Chat is saying, I see Lumpy Bronze Arm says Arthur C. Clarke said it.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, nice.
Thank you.
We got some
Thank you very
smarties
much.
up in the audience.
Chat.
Yeah.
So I have to ask you guys, I mean, the cast, it was very exciting. Last week on the Dungeon Rundown, the cast revealed their characters right here on a Dungeon Rundown exclusive hot take.
With really cool minis to boot.
With really cool minis. But yeah, Rundown, we didn't see the minis, but on Rundown, we got
no,
like
that's right.
who everybody's character was, and pretty much everyone in chat, and myself included, completely lost their minds. So how did it feel to have kind of that extra excitement, but also that extra pressure going into the first Mending of Magic episode?
I think with any like first campaign, you're just kind of like, even if the players have played together before, even if everyone's friends and family, you're like, yeah, how are these people going to communicate together? So it was one of those like, well, we are going to jump right into the deep end and yeah, almost immediately like together they've got to save Humdrum, and they each get like a little sampling. I think they learned about each other through combat.
And you guys didn't do an episode 0 for this one, right?
No, there was not a whole lot of time. But no, the answer's no, we didn't.
So we get to see it.
You got
we
to saw
get to see the very first
Session 0.
adventure. That's
Yes.
amazing.
I really enjoyed the process, and as she said, I made a lot of homework for myself in this casting. I mean, absolutely. Well, the thing about Uggo is, Uggo's a deep emotional character. He's not super rote, right? There's not a whole lot of intellectual processing with him. It's mostly wisdom. I really wanted to get away from that, and I think you can tell that we all kind of really wanted to get almost opposite of what we were playing with the regular one. And one that serves as an example to the watchers out there that we have range, right? Like that was my thing. Is I have range as a player. I love any opportunity that I get to play that range. So
You mean acting range, not ranged weapons?
yes, acting range. Thank you, thank you. Very important distinction. Absolutely. Yeah, range in terms of acting or character creation, right? Like backstory and like giving things meaning. And having them be more than just surface and giving them a source.
Yeah.
And so for me, this one was the roteness of it, right? The character is a scientific type, so of course I'm gonna have a lot of work to do because that's how the essence of that character is.
I respect that so much, and I will say that every single one of the players gave me these like really gut-wrenching backstories that will be fun. I guess, yeah, you were saying earlier, you're gonna ask me this later, but we'll get more into backstories, I think, in this upcoming episode. I don't feel right sharing other things, but yeah, some of them were just really, all of them were some version of tragic, which I knew they would be from having seen some of these episodes. These actors / comedians and improvisers and D&D players are no stranger to like abject, like heart-wrenching tragedy.
Find the drama.
Oh, find the drama. Let's be drama kids for once in our lives. Like, let's jump in. Let's do it.
I feel like that's what D&D
need a
is
driving
all about.
need. You need a
Yeah.
driving need.
So guys, the comments are going absolutely wild. Let's take a look at some of these. Some of these are a little like jumping all over the place topic-wise.
Great.
But I loved GamerShare earlier said percentile dice, the officially most underused dice in D&D.
Ooh, yes, we saw me give that. Ooh, I'm gonna choose percentile dice anytime. Anytime it's like, make a decision, it's like, roll dice. I love numbers. Like, let's go for it.
Does anyone in the party actually have a D100 to roll for?
A D100? I don't know. I sure
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah,
There was
they're
one-
cool. They kind of
They're
look like
huge.
big
They're
golf
huge.
balls.
There was one time I played in a game with Matthew Mercer, and somebody said, roll all your dice at the table. We're gonna add it up, and that's how many hit points you do this purple worm. And Matt was just like, okay, well, if we count percentile dice as it actually is, that's gonna be like, this is
man.
83 as opposed to just 8 and 3, make it 11. It was just so nerdy.
Ridiculous. Okay, Dr. Sparks asks, both of you being DMs, What are your favorite untold paths that you prepared but never actually happened?
Oh, that is a good.
That's a loaded one, so if you need a second to think, I totally understand.
I have one. It just happened 2 weeks ago in a game that I was playing. There's always you make a plan, right? That one thing that you learn as a DM is don't put all of your eggs in one basket. Don't, if you're gonna have a CR, don't put most of your CR into one creature unless it's just that one creature and has a variety of things.
It's like stocks. You gotta diversify.
Yeah, you gotta diversify a little bit, which I did. But I also have a personal homebrew rule, which is a confirmed critical. So a natural 20 and nat 1 aren't necessarily always you hit or you miss. There's an additional roll. And the additional roll, if it's lower, it confirms your critical miss, or if you roll higher, confirms your critical hit. And if you roll a 20 in 3 times in a row, or 1 3 times in a row, it's essentially the skies have parted and this intense thing occurs.
Yeah.
Usually death, if it's a crit fail, or
Yeah.
someone else's big monster, the dragon, you cut off its head in one swipe kind of thing.
Yeah.
These really rare
Like
things.
a once-in-a-lifetime
thing.
Crazy.
So I've got a full PC party that's up against my PC's party, or my player's party. And the first one was a Shatter Kai assassin who can teleport 30 feet. What the whole plan was to stab 2 of the characters, poison them with paralyzation, grab them, bamf back to where they are, and teleport out.
Okay.
Nat 1 3 times in a row. On the first roll, my big baddie, instantly dead. So the entire plan is now out the window.
What did you do?
Out of the-
What did you do?
Nothing.
Honor
I
the dice.
I honored
You
the dice.
honored the dice.
they
That's
were
what
like,
you
didn't-
do.
Even my players were like, you didn't think to fudge it? I was like, I'm not going to do that to you.
That's gonna karma right back at you.
Exactly.
Yeah,
My
no,
dog
you
is
can't
named
fudge
Karma.
the dice.
I have a
Fudge the dice.
dog named Karma.
Yeah,
I'm not
that's
doing
gonna
it.
show up
I
right
had
in
a
LA
DM
traffic.
I had a DM that fudged the dice all the time, and
that
you
is
read it
so-
on his face. He had such a bad poker
I
face.
have the worst poker face, and so you'll know that I'll never fudge dice.
I can't do that anymore. There was times where like, okay, I don't want this to happen, but I was like, but that's why you roll the dice. let them lie where they roll.
I had players. I gave them. They were super low level, maybe second level, and they were gonna go up against this duke who had a shield guardian, and they had an NPC with them that was totally like, don't do it. That is insane. Like, basically, the whole thing was like, don't go this way. We're gonna go this way. Nah. These players were like, oh yeah, shield guardian, what do I know? Rolled a bunch of intelligence checks and found out that the way the shield guardian was controlled was by a collar or a necklace. And they were like, well, screw the shield guardian, we're gonna go for the necklace. And they like sideswiped everything and succeeded in grabbing the necklace so that they ultimately had control over the shield guardian. And to this day, I am like, it is difficult for them to like navigate around the city with a big hulking shield guardian, which is basically like if you think of the Iron Giant, like running around the streets. So that's some version of difficult. They're always disguising him as something else, but it's not difficult enough like to have them like totally go the wrong way in this campaign. So that was one of those like they'll still to this day they'll talk about it. And
I would use that creature's level and up the entire party's level in terms of what they're challenging. Then it gets harder. It has to get harder.
Well, the other thing about shield guardians is they regain hit points, and I had to make a rule where they did go into this muck and mire, and I was like, oh, he can no longer regain hit points. Like
He's all gunked
he just
up.
can't do it. He's all gunked up. He's got poison muck and sewage water all over him.
Jeff talks about it all the time. Like you can make every plan ever,
Yeah.
and you still miss something and half the time your players are going that route, and you're like, well, I didn't plan for this, so I guess we're improvising now.
Yep, and Branded Nerd, I appreciated that that's the point of the dice, taking it back to what we were talking about earlier. When the dice speak, the dice speak.
Yep.
So all these questions and comments are absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much to everyone. And remember, if you want to rock some Dungeon Run swag on the regular, or even as you watch live, then make sure that you post your comment and questions to earn yourself some cool gear. Right now, go ahead and turn up the volume and go to full screen to watch Sir Hell. Is that like his nickname, Sir Hell?
Wow, that's really good.
Sir Hell, played by Jared, use his magic. Take a look at this now.
I'm gonna slough off the shield, raise both of my gauntleted fists with the eyes of Helm and point them upwards. Helm, I know you can hear me. I call upon you to heal this horse. And then I'll lay my hands down on the horse.
Why do I find that so funny?
As if I said something epic.
Yes, the deity from his heavens. There is no sign that he's...
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm in a different realm, so I'm hoping he hears me.
Yeah.
Is that a rhyme? It like almost was.
My voice is almost coarse.
Yeah.
Yes.
He'll
Yes.
Yeah, what,
Sure.
50 seconds left.
Okay.
Might as well.
This ain't is back to full. This ain't is back to full.
Nailed.
We rhymed him to full health.
Just in time.
Because I just see the blood and the poison, and I've never seen Justice look like he's gonna die. I'll dump all of my laying on hands, all 25 points. into
Oh my gosh, okay. You do, and the light that had gone out of his eyes a mere 6 seconds before, as his life force gushed out below his ribs and onto the Feywild ground, mixing with the water and milky murk of the mushrooms. His wounds close up, and there's a sparkle back in his eye. His eyes never having yet closed, and you can see the dark blackness, shininess of his horse eyes flicker over to you, and he blinks.
Aw.
And if it helps, I can actually take 5 of those laying on hands, and it cures poison. So if that makes a difference, I'll do 20 points of healing. 5 points
He was not poison. Yes, he was. He was
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah, he did take poison
You
damage.
do need to. Yeah, you do need
so
to
I'll
cure
do
him.
5 points
Okay.
of removing poison and 20 into healing.
Okay. Awesome. And how many hit points is he down then?
Well, you said that he took 24.
Okay.
And his max is 19.
Oh,
so
I
he was
see.
-5.
So he's at full now and unpoisoned.
Well,
Depoisoned?
he's still probably a
A couple hit points away. Okay.
Negative count?
Yeah, no, negative doesn't count.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
You don't have to
Only
go
when
zero.
you double it, because then you die.
You can't go
that's-
below
it
zero.
needs to
Got it.
count,
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then, yeah, he is at full health.
Okay. And as you watch as he scrambles up, yeah, oh, there he goes, back
Not
up.
killing any horses on the show.
He's not going anywhere.
I love that moment so much. A bingle jingle in chat says, we still need justice for justice. And
Justice.
Kamikaze Reaper said, heal my horse. No, do it. No, I swear to another god. Which I thought.
This is a fun Easter egg. In Live from the 8th Dimension, my character kills a horse. And so that was, I didn't recognize the parallels until the Candle Queen pointed it out later.
Wow.
That I'm a horse killer in
Wow.
both shows now.
Wow.
Yeah. Yay!
I mean, is that some like deep-seated backstory in real life that we're gonna need to work through?
Trisha, yes.
Dyson Cape says disadvantage for horse killing, just so you know.
Yay!
I also liked Queen Scarlet said Sir Hell, but he's a paladin.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it totally makes sense.
It does.
I think. So despite being a brand new adventure, there were definitely some dramatic moments in this first run into the Feywild. So to Amy and Ron, which were some of your favorite choice moments from episode 1?
There was one towards the end that I just didn't see coming. And like, I really want to honor it, is with Katie's character. Like, at the end of the night, she interrupted me. It was like, no, we're not done yet, because I need to leave a candle at the makeshift like funeral pier that Sir Hell, are we doing this? Sir Hell Vanguard had had created, and I think that was very interesting because her character is so. She wants to play aloof. She wants to play different than Lily, and what's interesting about that move, just as a character, is that that character still cares about something. You know, like it's not as aloof and separated as she thinks she is. No way, like no way. Leaving anything at someone, like honoring the dead is something that is something done only by a character with real empathy. So I thought that was. Yeah, it happens at the very end of the episode, but it touched me, okay?
All right.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed a lot of Morgan's interaction with Humdrum.
Oh yeah.
I really enjoyed a lot of that. Just see, you know, I'm a Sagittarius myself, so I'm very familiar with the centaur, and they are a very proud species, right? Especially in the Greek and Roman mythologies, they're very I know more than you, and you can't tell me a thing. And to see him. And I love a satyr that's like, nope, no, it's a thing, and just not letting that I'm better than you be real.
Yeah.
And seeing that interaction between you two was just like, I love this. I could watch that.
I think it's worth. I mean, I don't love having parties that are at odds with each other, but having real conflict that, you know, that's fine as long as the common goal actually is shared, which it does seem like there is that, and there is some racism in the Feywild, just like in the material plane or anywhere else. So it's I am really interested. I hope we get to improvise that out, and I look forward to more of that. Morgan really dived in, so that's really cool.
Yeah, it was a really fun thing to see, I think, for everyone involved. And just in that clip that we just saw, I mean, we all watched in awe when Jared's Sir Hell revived a nearly dead horse with magic. Very cool.
Yeah.
And very epic for an adventure one of a campaign.
That's another thing. It's like these people love their familiars. You know, like this is very, very fun. It's like Meep. You know, like these folks.
Don't mess with Meep.
Don't mess with Meep. Don't mess with Justice, Birch. What's
I mean, Kismet.
Kismet. Yeah.
Kismet, it's okay.
Oh, you can mess with Kismet.
You know, you miss Kismet. Look,
You're one step away from a dead owl.
It's called Kismet. It's literally called Kismet.
Just told Amy that.
It is called Kismet.
You
Okay.
just invited Kismet to that. It is now invited. But I mean, we had these wonderful moments, and through these moments, we got to see really how, Ron, you brought this up earlier, how every player kind of chose a character that's almost a 180 from the heroes that we're used to seeing them play, which is very cool.
Yeah.
So in your opinions, which player did the biggest 180?
Oh, I'm gonna be beating the dead horse again, but Katie. Yeah, totally night and day. And then I guess Morgan too, and
Yeah,
you're like 182 because you're right. Uggo is like
everybody did.
Well, yeah, I know. Trisha, that's a trick question.
It is. It's a very hard question.
But I do want to talk a little bit about Egg because you won't. But Uggo is like it's like things are binary with him. Good, bad. It's like
In between, no.
No in between. Like he's either killing that person or like hugging it to death. So everyone's dying with it.
Killing it with kindness or killing it with a mole.
Yep.
And then Egg, on the other hand, or Ego, while it is very similar in name, quite different in person, is so intellectual, seems to not only think through his decisions, but everyone else's decisions too. Like, he saw the rings of mushrooms and immediately were like, ooh, something different that I haven't experienced before. Like, I will go and experience and write it in my notebook probably later.
Yeah, addiction to curiosity, right? It's addiction to knowledge. It's that there's danger in that, right? There's a little bit of danger in that I want to know everything all the time because then you miss all the other things. And I personally struggled with that for a while. For a long time, I needed to know everything.
Ron himself.
Yeah.
Ron himself struggled with, I need to know all things. And I still struggle with it a lot. I like knowing things. It just is a thing that has happened.
It's a good life motivation.
It is. It's very good life motivation, but just like anything, too much of a good thing can be harmful. And so, you know, there was a lot of things I missed in life because I was so doing this and not seeing what's going on around me.
Right.
And so Ego is kind of a little nod to myself and like, remember, it's okay to be smart, but don't use it as a weapon, and 2, be humble about it, and 3, it doesn't mean everything.
True that. Amy Chat has found you out and said, Dr. Sparks said Amy killed the owl and is wearing its corpse. That's what's officially happened. You've been caught.
What do I do now? Well, I'm the dungeon master, so can I be caught?
Oh, even deeper
Existential.
questions. You know what else I would like to know tonight? What Dungeon Run shirt would Ego wear?
Oh.
Probably I Am Human.
I am human.
Okay.
because he's not, and that would just be funny to him.
That's great.
See, I go with a sense of humor too.
Of course.
There's another one. Is it Life is Pain?
Life is Pain is a
Dice
great
is
shirt.
Pain?
The Jorl shirt.
Oh yeah, Life is Pain. It's kind of up there with your quotes.
Oh,
your
absolutely.
verbal-
Life is pain. Yeah,
verbal
for sure.
Components.
That would also be a good one. Yeah.
Totally. So viewers, what about you? Which shirt do you want? With just a few moments left to post your comments or questions, make sure that you get yours in to earn your favorite tee. So let's read some of those comments now. A comment from Zabin the Cyndaquil for Amy. Can we get some Fae dinosaurs?
Okay, that's so funny, Zabin the Cyndaquil. I read your card that you submitted, and that is going to be included, I think, in the DM deck. Can we get some Fae dinosaurs? The answer is maybe, especially if we draw your freaking card, man.
Phinosaurs? Phainosaurs?
Phainosaurs.
Phainosaurus Rex.
Tyrannosaurus. Fae. Triceratops. There you go.
I'm into it.
Triceratops.
Follower Fahima asks another question for Amy. How do you feel about hosting an evil campaign sometime?
Oh, okay, here's why I like that. And
Okay.
it's worth talking about because when you say evil, we're thinking it still is grandiose cartoon evil. We were talking about this, where in D&D there's this huge escape of evil. I will conquer everything and kill all in my path. But the reason why you can do that and there's still heart and motivation and objectives for the characters is because it's not everyday evil where characters or people are gaslighting or manipulating people or like being otherwise sociopathic to other people.
Right.
It's like grand cartoon evil, so you can still justify a lot of the things and make it fun and not make it triggering, I guess. So yes, I would love to do that. Yeah, I would love to play like the opposite side. I would always say that if one of the party actually is evil, yeah, everyone would have to be evil, and if someone is like a secret good person, they would still have to make a really good argument for that for me to make that happen, or have that be kind of their character reveal. But I wouldn't let it be like, oh, and now I'm gonna, secret take out the party. Like that could never be their goal. It was to like do this subterfuge.
That would be hard in any party to have one person whose sole goal is to
wait till the very end
take
and then
everybody else out. Okay, right now let's go ahead and watch Morgan's Crow handle a Fae creature with some savage mercy during his first kill on the dungeon.
I see my mushroom friends entangling this guy.
Yes.
And I say, these shrooms shall soon be your tomb.
Does that count as three? I don't know.
It's a rhyme.
And I swing my scimitar down on its head.
Whoa.
Okay.
Wow.
And it is restrained, so I think I get advantage on the attack, whether or not I have it from our friends.
Attacks again. Yes, you do. You do for free.
Yes. Okay. Cool. Yeah, that's a 21. 20
Yes.
to hit.
Yes, it hits. Yes.
Cool. And then I think just a d6 plus 3. Yes. Yeah, that's 9 points of slashing damage.
9 points of. I will say this is the first blood that this drow has actually taken.
Yes.
Oh.
And you said 9?
9. Yes.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Yeah, as you slash down, you make sure not to hit your new mushroom friends.
No.
And they kind of part to make way as they like dive out of the way like the Red Sea. Whee! And their sinewy fungal muscles move out of the way. As you do slice down, you do crack him open a bit, and he does take the full amount of damage. And he would react if he could, but he can't. So now, let's see. All right. Now,
Okay.
getting
All right.
right inside the DM brain. Heart, 10 things happening at once. Am I broken?
So a DM, another title could maybe be Brain Juggler.
Brain juggler.
Go with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's why it's like, oh no, I don't have a poker face. If I'm going, hey, yeah, that's stroke land, baby.
I always called it nerve endings.
Nerve
it just feels
ending?
like nerve endings.
Well, I think at the
You're carrying
beginning,
so many
at the
things.
beginning of the show, I said, "Oh, those are all your neuroses firing in your brain." It's like, wait, no, neurons. How Freudian is that?
That's pretty funny.
All of your
Yep.
neuroses are firing.
It happens. That's how you learn about someone. Really,
yeah.
just invite them to DM for you, and you'll find out exactly what's going on in their mind. So, Amy, as DM,
Yeah.
how did it feel to lead the party into this brand new world for the first time, and what do you anticipate will be your favorite part about leading the team moving forward?
Moving forward, I have something to look forward to. I have been blessed by the Watchers, I guess. Why not rhyme? And it's like, I've been blessed with a set build. There, I said it. I'm getting a set build.
Really? For next week?
Nah, for not tomorrow. So I'll just say it's not for tomorrow.
Okay.
It's for sometime in the future.
Ah, that's so
it could-
exciting.
yeah, and I'm very stoked for it. It is like the first thing I thought of when I thought of this campaign. So, I mean, yeah, it's definitely tied right the heck into with the story. But I guess to answer your first question, what was it like bringing folks into it? You know, it was just really cool. I got to read a lot of lore and do a lot of research about how people viewed the Feywild, and I took what I liked, which was a lot of prophecy and story as legend, and fulfilling legends, and kind of this Neo idea that like, you're the one, and why are you the one, that kind of thing. So we'll be able to see a little bit more of that in the future. But it was quite fun. Like when you get to write these like fun little intros to read and soak people up in the world that you're imagining, I think my favorite part was giving them the time of day, or like, you all meet at this exact time, and it's something so esoteric that everyone's probably like, what does that even mean? Like in the material plane, it's 3 o'clock, but in the Feywild, it's like, well, when the thrush is blinded, okay, you know, it's very Lord of the Rings. You know, the thrush knocks 3 times type thing.
People in chat, specifically generic guests, were commenting on how spot on Amy's druid face was.
the Eladrin drow, but not drow face.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, that one right there.
Hard for me to like look.
It's
Inspired by the, if you've ever seen The Ring, that.
Yeah.
And the girl in the closet in like within the first 10 minutes of the film. And
yeah,
she,
I try to forget that.
Yeah, that has never left me.
Okay.
Yeah,
And now it never will leave you.
Which is why
Yeah.
that's why that face is so hard for me. Like when you do it, it's just like, I don't do horror films all that well.
No, I don't either.
You know, The Ring was one of those that I was caught off guard by. Like I didn't know it was gonna happen. So the first time it happened, I was like,
Yeah.
and it's still with me now. Like so, seeing that face is kind of like, I'm like, okay, I love you, Amy, but wow, that's a face.
Yeah, Dyson Capes in chat says thanks for the nightmares.
That for?
Yep, I agree with Dyson Capes. Thanks for the nightmares.
I once did an improv that you had to come up with like something that you could sell or compete with the audience or whatever, and mine was opening my mouth bigger than other people's. And so I knew I had that talent.
You're not actually like disconnecting your jaw though, right?
I had that talent from a very young age.
Okay, cool. Here, Kamikaze Reaper says, Amy, can you emulate Egg's voice and accent for the laughs of it?
Oh, hey, okay, yeah. Yeah, we are here in the Feywild, and I can't wait to know more about it. When are we going to the Shadowfell? Are we all traveling together?
Yeah, that's the voice. Yeah, this is very good. Very good.
I think it does come with a bit of clapping.
It does.
You
It
have
has
to
to.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's so fun.
Because it's jolly German.
Yeah, right. It's like jolly. Let's figure out what this stuff is. I'm excited
Oh my
about
gosh,
learning.
It's Heimlich from A Bug's Life.
Oh, it is.
It is.
Oh,
my
wow.
gosh. That
Wow.
just came back. It's this because he would do this.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Ron. Okay.
It's Heimlich from A Bug's Life, and I'm trying to think what I was just watching something recently with a dog who has that voice. Oh, it's a video game. I was playing a video game with a dog that has that voice. There you go. All comes around. But yeah, Wookiee King, it's basically a jolly German.
Jolly German giant.
Yep.
Okay, Amy, Ron, how excited are you guys to be headed back into the Feywild?
I can't wait. I can't wait. Bring it on. I'm so excited. Like I also need to shout out all of the crew in the production because this is like playing D&D that you always wanted to play, where it's like, oh my gosh, I need to paint these minis and I would love to have, this set piece and all this stuff. But I only have 4 hours on Sunday, so you kind of get what you get. And meanwhile, like there's just Bernardo going, what do you need? What do you need? How can we get this to you? And then, the Candle Queen's rush. Everyone's just like doing everything where I'm like, and I guess I just sit back and be a princess because everything is like delivered and beautiful. So I'm very excited to dive in and kind of, I think next episode, my goal is to twist things up. We've seen, a meeting, we've seen some conflict, we've seen an encounter, and now let's really play with what the Feywild is and what it can do. So, yeah.
I'm really excited that we have an entire team whose core beliefs are firm beliefs in things. And then there's one person who's like, I don't believe in anything.
Oh, do you love that, Ron? That's something that you love very much?
I love that they all, we went from no clerics, no belief magics, right? No divine, nothing like that. So now we have a druid, a ranger, a cleric, and a paladin. This is all moral magic, right? Moral magic.
Absolutely.
And so have moral magic be thrown into an Faye, you would say it is an immoral realm. Morals don't matter.
Unmoral, yeah.
Unmoral is probably
not
better.
Not anti or im.
Right.
Yeah,
it just doesn't care. It's not really care about morals.
Yeah.
And then have a character who says, well, beliefs don't matter and all of this doesn't. It's going to give us a very interesting role-playing aspect that I'm really looking forward to.
So what can our runners look forward to this week in tomorrow's adventure? Can you drop us a little Dungeon Rundown exclusive tidbit?
Okay, this week we are going to play with honor, but also yes and kind of turn things on their heads about the backstories that these wonderful and very creative players have sent me. And I think I can also say one of the things that people might know me from online is writing songs about D&D or role-playing games. Just in general, I have 2 albums. One is called Songs in the Key of D&D, and the other one's called Songs from Foreververse that we played together. So there are actual albums of me writing songs, but I'll just leave that there. So we might
look up I Don't Want to Be a Hero. It's amazing. I'm a big fan of Amy's music.
Yeah. And
I did not know this about you, Amy.
Yeah.
So check it out. My favorite song is the DM's Lament. It's an angry song. It's very aggressive. Anyway, we might look forward to some things like that where I just be myself in this upcoming game.
The T-Boy shouts out and says, Amy's albums are so good. So remember, everybody, that there's swag up for grabs, and with just minutes from the end of the Dungeon Rundown, someone is going to earn a fancy new shirt. Woo. Now, it might be you. Okay, Amy and Ron, if you're curious about what the Watchers have to say, I've got some stuff going on here. Zabin the Cyndaquil says, Ego versus Uggo, who would win?
Oh, man.
Tough.
Depends on the level.
Okay. We're
At
asking
current
you to
level,
choose between
probably
your babies.
Uggo. Probably Uggo.
Yeah, my money's on Uggo.
Uggo on this one, yeah.
Why is that?
Well, I play a gnome who doesn't have a whole lot of constitution, so I don't have so many hit points.
Okay.
And when you get 2 attacks with them all at rage, I just need to get there.
Uggo bash.
Yeah, Uggo bash.
Uggo bash is pretty intense. Yeah. Okay, you guys are hilarious. Thank you so much. I know that you're excited to move on. I see lots of people shouting out for the fan art. We'll get there. We'll get there in a second. Okay, runners, you guys showed up tonight and showed out for last week's episode and for tonight's comments. The best of the best earn themselves a shirt, and it's time to see who grabbed that swag. So let's see. I am being told that tonight's winning comment is, we should have a shirt that says, eat crow with a ripped centaur.
Ooh!
And that comes from Fireverm.
Yeah,
Congratulations, Fireverm. Amazing, woot woot. We also all know that Dungeon Run fans are super loyal and extremely talented. So it's fan art time. Take a look at this beautiful piece submitted via the dungeonrun.fandom.com by Sir Gage. Ego, it's you.
No, that's Brick.
Is it Brick?
That's Brick. That's me.
That's you.
Yeah, that's me.
Yay!
Got it.
Look how special.
Oh, wow, look at that chin.
That is Sir Halvengard. That is a butt on his chin.
That is a butt chin.
Crow.
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 Mm-hmm. Very
Oh my
nice.
gosh, y'all, that is beautiful.
Sir Gage, we are sending you a Dungeon Run shirt also as a thank you for sharing your beautiful talent with us. Watch your inbox for details. All right, guys, Dungeon Run swag is for everybody. Submit your fan art to thedungeonrun.fandom.com to share your art, and you could also earn yourself a t-shirt masterpiece. And this weekend, from Saturday, September 7th through Sunday, September 8th, visit teespring.com for 10% off all Dungeon Run merchandise. It's a sale. Woo. So use the code that's right here, SUPASALE3, and get your 10% and get all your good stuff. There we go. All right, ginormous special thanks to tonight's guests, Ron Ogden and Amy Vorpahl. Thank you guys so much.
Yay to you.
Yay to you.
You did so good.
You did so
did so good.
I just want to say.
You did
so
so good, girl. You did so good.
So supportive here at the Dungeon Rundown, guys. So supportive. Seriously, thank you guys so much. This has been a great time.
Yeah, this was
you.
awesome. Thanks for having me.
Woohoo! And of course, there's no way that we could talk Dungeon Run without you, the esteemed watchers of the time stream. So thanks, as always, to the folks at home. Make sure to log into Caffeine tomorrow, Wednesday at 6 p.m. for a shiny new adventure with our stupendous cast. Then be back here with me and some of your favorites next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Your favorites. I like that. Thank you, Amy. Next Tuesday at 6 p.m. to relive all the twists and turns. You've been watching the Dungeon Rundown, and I'm your host, Trisha Hershberger. Until next week, good night.